Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on KSTW 11.
It has all come down to this here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Welcome into the show. PRCBD Championship Night number 1, presented by Evergreen Health of Monroe, and we're giving out 5 track championships here tonight on the program. Greg Pylan, Caleb Hart. Greg, we're in for some fun and giving out some trophies, some hardware, and got some great features coming up too.
You know, the culmination of the season coming down to this championship night number 1 is always a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see those champions up on the podium after the race is over too. So great night ahead.
Yep, we will talk to your top 3. We'll talk to your season champion as well. In 5 of the 6 divisions, we'll start out with the one class where we don't keep points. Youth Hornets are on the track first and foremost. And let's get you your starting lineup for this A-main event. On the pole, Lila Mashburn, car number 31, sponsored by General Car Wash. And next to Lila, it's Sage Frazier, the 12 car, sponsored by Party Chief Safety Apparel.
And sponsored by Crossroads Towing, it's the 11 of Keegan Mooney. On the outside, sponsored by SRP V8 Towing, it's the 46 of Lola Crum.
The third row, Evan Delfell, car number 95, sponsored by Mazda of Everett. Next to Evan, it's Tanner Bjornson, the 01, sponsored by Misfit Motorsports.
Row number 4, sponsored by PRCBD, it's the 18 of Paisley Bender. On the outside, the 67X of Kylie Saran.
Row number 5, Clint McCowan, 00 car, sponsored by Complete Auto Repair Service, LLC. And the 65 of Bryson Wingfield, his sponsor is his papa, Tony Hill.
All right, in the final row, it's going to be the 8 of Jacob Funk. On the outside, the 51 of Cayenne Spear, sponsored by Mrs. Turner's Hometown Cafe.
So we've got 12 cars sending them around the 5th mile around the inside here of Evergreen Speedway. We do not keep points in the Youth Hornet division, so there will be no champion to crown, as they're going to get the 1-to-go signal this time around. And the other thing about Youth Hornets, they are truly youth. 12 to 14 years old out here in the division is the age restriction for these cars and drivers.
Yeah, and it's so impressive, and we've talked about it on so many of Home Track Hero shows, talking about how cool it is not only to see the drivers in this division, but also to see them progress as drivers and move up into the next division. And we've seen that a lot. You know, Tegan Bjornson is one that comes to mind, the Shark, and we see him now in the Interstate Batteries Hornets. But a lot of fun to see these young drivers progress and continue and stay with it here at Evergreen Speedway.
We'll try to point out some of those drivers that have been down here in the Youth Hornet division over the years as the program rolls on. The green flag is out, and this main event is underway. Good 2-car battle out front, almost 3 cars for just a couple of seconds as you're getting the in-car view from Paisley Bender, who has been one of the 2 dominant forces here in the class in the 18 car. The other one is Tanner Bjornson, 01. We'll watch those 2 cars try to pick their way through the field as we're off and running early, and Lila Mashburn's got the lead.
Yeah, so nice start here by Lila, and you see Sage Frazier in the 12 car in that second spot. Coming up quick, though, Lola Crum in the 46 as they come out of turn number 4 and down the front stretch here once again. But Lila Mashburn doing a good job leading this pack off early with 23 laps to go, and we see the 18S of Paisley Bender making some moves too.
The JBR cars are always fast, no matter what the 4-cylinder application is that they are running in. That is Paisley, the younger sister to Brooklyn Bender. We're going to see her a little bit later on in BECU mini stock action. Right now, she's trying to work around the outside of Keegan Mooney in the 11, take the long path around Evergreen Speedway. Meanwhile, our race for the lead is on.
Yeah, and Sage Frazier taking a look to the low side, coming into 3 and 4, and has the advantage for just a moment down the front stretch, but Lila Mashburn able to close that as they come out of turn number 2 down the back stretch. And look how wide Lila Mashburn is going in that 31 car coming into turn number 3, but doing a great job. And we've seen other drivers in this Hornet division kind of take that high line and then kind of duck in really hard coming into turn number 3. And right now working out well for the 31, but just gets spun out in turn number 2.
Yeah, around she goes in the second corner. She'll dart back on in the back straightaway. And the new leader, Sage Frazier, now with Lola Crum sitting in the second spot. That'll move Bender up to third, and still lots of laps left in this. 19 to go here in a little bit of an extended run for the Hornets here on championship night.
Yeah, and like you said, big move there by the 18 of Bender, able to get up into that third spot after Lila was unfortunately spun out there in turn number 2. But your leader, Sage Frazier, knocks off another lap. 18 laps to go here, but the battle for second, big time here as we see Bender go to the inside of Crum, taking over that second spot as they come down the backstretch.
On most nights when Paisley Bender has gotten hung up or hasn't been able to make it all the way to the front, it's because the 0-1 of Tanner Bjornson has been right in front of her. This time, she's got Bjornson well in her rearview mirror and now looks to make the move on Sage Frazier for the top spot here in this main as poked her nose to the inside of the back straightaway, backed off her, not going to roll around, maybe look to the outside going into our first corner.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if the 18 car is going to be able to pass on the outside, doing a really good job here out of turn number 2 down the backstretch, kind of going a little bit wide like Mashburn was, but now tucking in for turn number 3, still nearly side by side with Sage Frazier as Paisley Bender as they come down the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line. Still the 12 car leading this pack, and Paisley just looking for any opportunity to pass on the outside.
That lane that Lila was taking is a very extreme version of the course that we've seen here on the 5th mile, as taking full advantage of the extra paving on the back end of that course that came in last season. We don't see these Youth Hornets get up there all that often, but Lila tried it. It worked for her until it didn't.
Yeah, and it looks like just continuing to have this side-by-side action, but, you know, good on Sage Frazier. Sage is somebody that's been in this division now for a couple of years, but doing such a great job sticking to that low line and just racing exactly how that 12 car is able to, going down the backstretch, still side-by-side with Paisley Bender, and Bender just creeping forward just slightly, it seems like each time around, now going to be side-by-side as they come across the start-finish line.
It's the difference in about 1/10 of a second per lap in what it takes to get around the outside groove as opposed to the inside, maybe just a hair more, as Bender that time, what a run off of turn number 2. And it looks like she'll finally be able to pull her down and secure the lead with just 11 laps to go. Indeed she does. Paisley Bender, your new race leader here, with just the double hockey sticks remaining.
Yeah, and like you said, what a great move there coming out of turn number 2, going to that wide side. And now Paisley's going to continue to take that same lane, and obviously knowing when it's time to start to brake coming into turn number 3 and keeping that car in control out of 4 and down the front stretch. But, you know, Sage Frazier now has to hold off the 46 of Lola Crum, which Lola Crum now right on the back bumper of that 12 car.
Nice run for Lola, as we've seen her on the podium or time or two. She's looking to finish out her season with a very strong effort. Frazier doing a good job, though, protecting the bottom. You know, when Sage lost the lead, it wasn't because made a mistake at all of any kind. It's just that Bender had the better run around the outside. Frazier's done a great job of making sure that the 12 car is exactly where it needs to be, lap in and lap out, hitting all the marks.
Yeah, and continue to hit those marks, too, so we'll see what Lola Crum's going to maybe trying the same move that Paisley Bender did to take the advantage there in that first place spot. So we have some issues, and it's Paisley Bender getting spun around in turn number 2.
So Bender, problems in the 18 car. And, oh, wow, okay, well, that was late, but it happened. Cayenne Spear, out of nowhere, decides the little just, I don't know, love tap to Paisley coming around the corner. Let's take a look at it from Lola Crum's perspective, and you can see contact between Jacob Funk's 8 and the 18 of Bender, and Lola ends up off in the tulips herself, and then here comes the 51 car, adding a little insult to injury there, as we're going to have to regather them, and we're going to have a new race leader when we get back to action.
And that's kind of Youth Hornet racing, too, a little bit, right? Like, even though the yellow caution comes out, there's still going to be some of those issues that happen, and Cayenne Spear, unfortunately, in the wrong place at the wrong time there and gets right into the side of Paisley Bender.
All right, so we've got a very remade and new-looking top 3 here with the 11 of Keegan Mooney going to be in the top spot. The 95 of Evan Delfell is second. And taking a look at third, I'm trying to pick up the car number as it comes around. Either way, we're back to green flag action, and this one significantly changed in just a matter of a lap.
And as soon as you're looking for that third-place car, and as soon as I saw that car go to the very high side on the back end there, it was Lila Mashburn that was kind of taking that same pathway. But unfortunately, looks like getting past there by the 01 of Tanner Bjornsson. So the younger brother of Keegan Bjornsson in the 01 car now with a battle with the 95 of Delfell going to the inside of the 11 of Keegan Mooney. And it looks like we have a new race leader, and it's going to be the 95 car of Evan Delfell.
Well, talk about taking advantage of your opportunity. Delfell, who gets handed a top 3 run now, shuffling up into the lead. That lead might change hands once again. Coming off the corner is there's the 11, driving back to the inside of Keegan Mooney. So Mooney retakes the top spot from Delfell, and Tanner Bjornsson looking to get involved. He wants one more trophy before this year is over as he battles with Delfell for second. Might be right up on your leader.
Yeah, and just kind of taking the same pathway that 11 car of Mooney was taking to get by Evan Delfell. So Tanner Bjornsson in the 01 car able to go to that inside lane. Now going to be right back behind the 11 car of Keegan Mooney as they come down the backstretch. Now Delfell falling off just a little bit as they come into turn number 3, but the 01 car has a little bit of work left to do. 3 laps remaining now.
Pressure is on Keegan Mooney to make good laps ahead of Bjornsson. Out of turn number 2. 1 and 2 have been the better corners here for Mooney. Watch Bjornsson through 3 and 4 if he can find the combination to get on by. Mooney going to stretch it just a little bit. 2 laps to go, and I think what would be the first Youth Hornet win for Keegan Mooney is just a little ways away.
Yeah, very impressive for the 11 car. Now pulling away a little bit from Tanner Bjornson. You see Bjornson go wide, as we saw Mashburn do earlier on in this race, and Paisley Bender kind of continued the same thing. So we'll see if it works out well as the white flag flies. 1 lap now remaining for the 11 of Keegan Mooney.
Well, this would be one way to end the season on a strong note here on PRCBD Championship Night number 1, presented by Evergreen Health Monroe. And it is Keegan Mooney taking the win in the Youth Hornets. Congratulations to him. It is Bjornson running in the 2nd spot. Delfell ends up taking 3rd. And we go trackside for the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium and your winners' interviews.
Lila, I know you were leading for the first few laps. Unfortunately, got tangled up in a little bit of an incident in turn number 1. What was it like trying to recover from that half spin?
All I needed to do was not kill the car. That was my main goal.
Was it kind of a surprise? I know there was a lot of shuffling after that last restart that you made your way back up to 3rd.
Yeah, I didn't think I was in 3rd.
What's it been like running with the Youth Hornet Division all throughout 2023 with this 31 car?
I love it.
Has to feel pretty good as well. I think best finish of the season so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody you'd like to thank that helps you get this 31 car out?
I would like to thank General Car Wash, Dune Star, Olympia Pizza, Village Transmission, my grandpa, and Joe Jillian, and also the Duncans and the Bjornsons and my whole family and everyone else, and Riley for being my pit crew today.
Lila Mashburn brings home a 3rd place run. Nicely done, Lila, in the 31 camp. Well, Evan Delfell, it was a great battle between you and Keegan those last few laps. What could have made the difference there in that crisscross battle?
I don't even know. I'm just happy to get 2nd.
I know it's a solid run for you and the team going into the off season. It had to be a lot of fun as well, battling in those last few laps as well. Looked like it was pretty much a race-long battle between you and the 11 as well.
It definitely was, but clearly he had the better line.
Yeah, what does it take to get one of these Youth Hornet cars around the 1/5 mile with it being so flat? What's it like trying to get the thing kind of woed up and not drive it in too deep?
A lot of gas and a lot of brake.
I'd like to thank everybody that helps you get out here, Evan.
Mazda of Everett, Bruno's Pizza, my grandpa, my parents, my grandparents, my brother, and everyone else who worked on the car, and that's it.
There you go, wrapping it all up. Evan Delfell wraps up his season with the 2nd place run of the 95. Keegan, I know you were going to line up 2nd there for that restart, but unfortunately for Sage, a flat tire. What were your thoughts going to get the green once you saw that you were going to be the one leading the field to the green flag?
I saw Sage pull off. I knew I had the chance to get this. I held my line. It was a difficult battle between the 95 car, but I held my line. I did what I did.
I know we were talking with Evan. You guys had a pretty cool crisscross battle there. What was the game plan once Evan originally got around you to try and get it back?
I have no idea.
Muscle memory at that point, I think, just trying to get back out in front. I know you had a close call in the heat race there where you locked up with the left front going in. Was that kind of going through your mind to not drive it in too deep as well?
The lockup, I think, was on my part. I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the 18 car, but I'm going to blame myself until we have proof.
I know you got a long list of people that help you out with this 11 camp. Has to feel good to get the win. Finally, after a long season, getting it wrapped up, who would you like to thank?
Crossroads Towing out of Bellevue, Cars Auto Repair Specialist, Squires Auto Work, the Car Spot out of Bellevue, Washington, Johnny Detailing, Wholesale Express, Mom for letting us come out and do this, Dad, good luck to Officer Kevin Beretta on his recovery, and rest in peace, Jordan Jackson, P556.
Keegan Mooney getting the job done tonight in the 11. Nicely done, Keegan. Congratulations.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Greg Pyland, and we move on. It is time for the Pro 4 Trucks, Greg, division. We don't see nearly enough here at Evergreen Speedway, but when we do, they're a bunch of fun. They're on the racetrack, ready to get this A-main started. 30 times around on the 3/8 mile. Your pole sitter in the 8 truck is Shane Green. Next to him in the very cool STP-esque throwback of the 35 truck, that is Haley Wilkinson.
Next row number 2, the 24 is McKenna Cox. On the outside, the 5 of Eric Angeletti.
Row number 3 is Aaron Green. Green in the 6 truck, and next to him, it is the Wiley Coyote, Mike Wiley, the red with white number 17.
And row number 4, the 4 of Pete Brady. On the outside is the 26 of Cody Cooey.
So, we are 8 trucks, 30 times going around, expecting more trucks to get built over this offseason. Already heard rumors that there is a second Cooey truck being built as we speak. The Vaughn Truck Racing team will be back in force and more, so good news on that. Hopefully we got one humdinger of a main event coming up.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about, too, the Youth Hornets and some of those drivers moving up. One of the drivers was Riley Riddell that moved up into the Pro 4 truck, not racing tonight, obviously, but we've seen him earlier on this season in a Pro 4 truck. So nice division for those Youth Hornets to move up in as we see the truck from the 35 of Haley Wilkinson as the green flag is out and we are underway.
You saved yourself $1 on that one. The unofficial Home Track Heroes rules, whenever you call a truck a car, we fine you $1. And you can play along at home. I don't know what you're going to give the $1 to, but heck, you should do it. It's a worthy cause.
It is indeed.
Out early, it is the 8 truck of Shane Green. We fined poor Todoroff like $7 on one episode. It was awesome. No, it wasn't Todoroff. It was Fitzpatrick. Either way, it's the 8 truck of Shane Green, one of 2, normally 3 Green racing trucks that we have here, as I believe Matt Green is the one that is missing from this field tonight. So Shane leads, McKenna Cox in the Cox Racing truck sits in second position. In third, that is the 6 of Aaron Green. Your presumptive points champion, by the way, is Pete Brady in the 4 truck, so congratulations to him. I believe that was decided before we even dropped the green flag here in the same main event.
And you talk about Pete Brady coming from row number 4, and he's side by side now with the 35 of Haley Wilkinson, and Wilkinson just gets a little bit wide there, but making some moves early on as we see the 24 of McKenna Cox going to the low side of the 8 of Shane Green, and now taking over that first place spot as the 24 truck. But Pete Brady, like you said, kind of coming from that back end and now up into that 4th spot. He's going to be right behind a couple of greens.
It is Aaron Green, the white and red truck on the inside, or is it orange? Can't tell. Next to him, the 8, that is Shane Green, sits in the 3rd spot, and Brady's got a nice run on the inside. He's bringing Cooey with him, as looks like 3rd, 4th, and 5th about to all change hands in the course of one corner.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think that's Honda Red to me, I'm going to say, for the green car. But we have the 4 of Pete Brady coming down across into that 3rd spot now. And the 24, though, McKenna Cox doing a great job holding on and building that advantage in that first place spot, with Aaron Green in the 2nd spot back behind, and all alone Pete Brady just kind of looking for that opportunity here as they come out of turn number 4.
So here in the Pro 4 trucks, these trucks run all over the state. We keep a local points tally for them, in which that's what Brady is going to win here, but they tour all over the place. They get a lot of laps in a lot of different places. Cox in the 24 truck has been battling. Look out! We'll get back to that story in just a second as Brady got a whole bunch of Cooey and slows down, now picks the throttle back up, and we stay green on this one. So green flag conditions stay, and Brady's now going to have to rally his way back up the field, as that allows McKenna Cox and Aaron Green to really streak away.
Yeah, and what a great recovery there by Pete Brady as you see him kind of going sideways just coming into turn number 3, but obviously able to get that truck back out and running forward and jumping back in. We'll see him coming across the line, but yeah, like you said, big advantage here for the 24 McKenna Cox and Aaron Green, as they have a huge advantage now over the 26 of Cody Cooey.
This segment on Home Track Heroes brought to you by Angel of the Winds Casino Resort. Angel of the Winds Casino Resort now has sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it at Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle. Exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington. So Cox and the 24 truck, they have been battling the mechanical gremlin on that side, and it's been electrical here over the course of the year. They have switched just about every switch you can think of in the truck. They've fought around with wiring, etc., and right now everything seems to be in good working order as her power has stayed consistent. She has stretched her lead over Green in the 6. Now Cooey right up on the back of 6 as they battle for a spot 11 laps into this race.
And we just saw Pete Brady just right behind in that 6th spot, right behind the 35 of Haley Wilkinson. So nice recovery by the 4 car and trying to make his way back up through the field. But like you said, Cody Cooey taking a look here on Aaron Green as they come into turn number 4 and down the front stretch. And he's going to maybe take a look to the low side he is as they come down the front stretch into turn number 1. And the 26 car, Cody Cooey, able to pass by Aaron Green.
Oh, you're $1 fined.
Oh.
It's all $2? Derek Hobbs keeping unofficial track for us here. Nice move by Cooey, though. You're right. As he works his way into second. Now Brady works his way into one spot ahead. That'll be fifth as he slides forward on Wilkinson. And Wilkinson's left the bottom open to possibly lose a spot to Angelides, who's working the inside.
Yeah, and some great side-by-side truck action there with the 5 car in the 35, or 5 truck in the 35. Look at that. I'm up to $3. My goodness.
And you did it in the same sentence. That's impressive. Cooey has made a ton of ground up on Cox here. Makes the move to the inside, but is denied out of the second corner by McKenna. So it's Cox and Cooey coming in on the halfway mark here. This main event will be 15 in, 15 remaining. And McKenna Cox feeling some pretty significant pressure for the first time here in this race.
Yeah, and Cooey now taking a look to the low side as they come into one here. So the 26 truck able to pass by in turn number 2. McKenna Cox kind of come back behind as they go down the backstretch, but what a great run here by the 26 truck of Cody Cooey as they come into turn number 3, just kind of slicing and dicing through this field here and now taking the lead just over the halfway point.
Great move by Cooey, who started dead last on this field. He was outside row number 4. It takes him 16 laps to get 26 truck up in the lead. Cooey also a very tall kid. Back to that as we take a look, and we've got trucks making moves as Wilkinson shuffles back a spot. Angelides finally makes his way through on the inside, so Angelides up to 6th. Wilkinson and then Wiley, who has been a winner here in the Trucks at Evergreen Speedway himself, unfortunately not having the best run this afternoon.
And a nice look in truck here from the 24 McKenna Cox in that second spot here, currently back behind your leader Cody Cooey as they come down the front stretch here, knocking off another lap. It's now 12 laps to go. And we look back to your leader, Cody Cooey, coming out of turn number 2, just looking very solid there as we see the in-truck presented by McKenna Cox here.
So taking a look at McKenna, and she's actually rolling back in on him. She closed through 1 and 2 and just closed again through 3 and 4. So the 24 truck, after losing some distance to Cooey, is picking up the pace and trying to reel him back down. Cooey in the 26, trying to stretch from McKenna. This race for the lead by no means over yet.
And back to the 8 truck of Shane Green with the 5 of Eric Angelides. Angelides going to come up side by side with Green as they come into turn 3 and 4. So nice run for the 5 truck there, coming out of 4 and down the front stretch and taking over another spot is the 5 truck of Eric Angelides.
Taking a look at Angelides, he's got some mini stock experience across the Northwest. First time I remember seeing him here at Evergreen Speedway in the truck division, so maybe a new venture for him. Try his hand at something else as he's going to pass forward. He's got a top 5 run now and bringing Mike Wiley 17 with him, who's picked up a couple of truck positions in the last few laps.
Yeah, unfortunate there for the 8 truck of Shane Green, kind of like you said, almost gets it back there from the 17 of Mike Wiley, but Wiley able to hang on there. But unfortunate there as you kind of see him, he's been kind of stuck in that outside lane, and the 17 of Mike Wiley able to pass by. But back out to your leader, the 26 of Cody Cooey, being a little coy with McKenna Cox, maybe coming back and forth a little bit, closing that gap as you described. But McKenna Cox here looking for another opportunity, but the laps are starting to wind down now. 7 laps to go.
So 7 to go, and you're right, Cox is even closer than when we saw the in-truck camera from her, as she's within couple of lengths away from Cooey in the 26. These trucks are not a super easy car to drive. You have all that weight over the front, not a whole heck of a lot at the back. It makes you have to swing. Yeah, I find me a buck, I'm sorry. You've got to swing the back end of that truck around, so your setup on them and your driving style a little different from them as well. Now Cooey doing a good job adjusting, as that time it looks like he stretches it out by a car length over Cox and gives himself a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to watch here Cody Cooey as he comes out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. McKenna just seems to be, like you said, closing that gap, and then Cody Cooey just kind of keeps on pulling away a little bit. It's making things very interesting here for that first and second spot. And we take a look to the 3rd truck. That's going to be Aaron Green in the 6 coming out of turn number 4. So a lot of distance between the 6 and the 24, between 3rd and 2nd, but just now 4 laps to go, and Cody Cooey just seems to be pulling away.
Looks like Cooey has found his rhythm in the 26 truck. Just 3 more times around remaining for him as he looks to finish out the Evergreen Speedway season with a Pro 4 truck win. Cox now becoming a distant second for 3rd. Pete Brady, your champion, trying to close in on the 6 truck of Aaron Green and making some progress, but might be running out of time.
Yeah, like you said, 3 laps to go, about 2.5 laps now for the 6 of Aaron Green to hold off the 4 of Pete Brady. As we take a look coming out of turn number 4, nice vantage point there.
Whoa.
Getting a little bit loose there is Pete Brady coming out of turn number 4. And like you said, that's got to come down to just how these trucks are set up a little bit too, right? And kind of going into that. And Pete obviously came in a little bit too hot maybe to turn number 4.
Interestingly enough, though, the back end swims, the front end stays right. He still made a really good lap because look at the speed that he's closing on the 6 truck of Aaron Green with as we're down to 1 to go. Third might change hands here in the final lap.
Yeah, definitely so. As we take a look back to your leader here once again, the 26 of Cody Cooey coming out of turn number 4, crossing the start-finish line, and is going to take the win there, the checkered flag. The second spot goes to the 24 McKenna Cox. Third is going to be the 6 of Aaron Green, and we will talk to your winners down at the Angel of the Winds winners podium.
Aaron, you hung with the top 5 there for the first few, and then you managed to get yourself up to third. Unfortunately, the 24 and 26 kind of dropped you there for the end, but had to have been fun as well trying to hang on with Pete and the Ford truck closing in those last few laps.
Yeah, I saw him coming, and I had nothing for those other 2 trucks, but I was going to try to hold Pete off. So
I know you guys have one more race coming up as well on the dirt in a few weeks at Grays Harbor. What do you think it's going to be like trying to run these things on the dirt?
I'm not sure, because I know last year we were there and it was more in July and it was drier, so it might be a little slippery.
Could be a lot of things. As again, it'll be a non-points race. Of course, wrapping up the championship tonight. But Aaron, I'd like to thank everybody that helps you get out here tonight with his 6 truck.
Oh, just my family and my boys for putting the extra effort.
Aaron Green, strong third place run to finish off his season in the 6 truck. Nicely done, Aaron. McKenna, I know you got out in front early there, and then fortunately we just passed the halfway point. Cody started getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I have a smaller motor in my truck right now, but Cody is a really good race car driver, so it is really hard to beat him with a bigger motor or smaller motor, so kudos to him.
I know you had a little bit of drama in the heat race. What happened when you had to pull in there in the warm-up lap?
Yeah, we forgot to put on the gas cap, so there was gas spilling everywhere, but it was still good practice to get out there and get my line down.
Of course, I know you had a few laps there where you're actually starting to reel back in. Cody, was that kind of a thing of getting back up on the wheel and kind of regrouping after he did get around you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really good kind of chasing down people once they get in front of me, so I don't think I was actually going to catch him, but it's always nice to think I'm going to catch him.
Still got to go for the chase. Who helps get this 24 truck on track?
My dad and my brother, my mom, Tyson, my boyfriend, and Northwest Boiler, Tommy, my spotter, Impel Construction, Flynn Carpet Sense, Terry, because that's who I got my motor from. That's all I can think of right now.
McKenna Cox, second place tonight, the Northwest Pro 4 trucks. Nicely done, McKenna. Cody, this thing was dialed in as it has been throughout the season, and I know a little bit of contact in 3 there had to have you a little bit worried about maybe the right front going down or maybe a little bit of a rub.
No, I just figured that I had it, and I guess he didn't see me.
Of course, it's just one of those racing deals, but soldiered through, didn't do no harm, no foul, and I saw you close up in on McKenna there and kind of set her up there for a few laps going into 1. What did it take to finally get that inside run coming off the 4?
Yeah, I really don't want to wreck anyone, so I just figured it'd be nice to be on equipment.
I know this truck, as we mentioned, has been dialed in all season. Who do you got to help and get this thing get into the right direction and run it so well?
I want to thank my mom on her birthday, my dad, JJ Cooey Trucking, Machias Materials, Amsoil Dale, Truck Bars West, Cole Carson Trucking, and my Uncle Robbie for helping us all.
Cody Cooey getting the job done tonight, the 26 truck. Nicely done, Cody. Your Northwest Pro 4 truck champion for 2023, Pete Brady, and Pete soldiering back to a 4th place run there. I know Cody probably didn't mean to get to the side of there, but what did it take to keep that thing straight? Me and Steve Mortland were both in awe as you got that thing pointed in the right direction.
Well, I was hoping they'd put up a caution flag, but they didn't. I just had to go extra hard at the end to catch back up.
Still managed to get up to a fourth place finish. What's it been like throughout the Northwest Pro 4 truck season? I know only 2 stops this year at Evergreen, but you guys have been all throughout the Northwest as well.
Well, I hope next year we have more dates here. I don't like going to the other tracks. I like Evergreen Speedway the best. The Hobbs family did a great job.
And who you got helping out for the 2023 season, helping to make another championship year?
Well, I had Mark Northcutt Jr., Chris Melvin, and excuse me, Matthew Kane, and OK Produce, and Pete's Foreign Auto Repair, Brady's Welding. A lot of people have helped me.
List goes on and on. Pete Brady, your 2023 Northwest Pro 4 truck champion in truck number 4, and
We are storming along here on Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. Glad to have you with us. Greg Pyland, Caleb Hart, and the tightest of the points battles is on track now. The INEX Legends with just 8 points separating Gabe Sessler, your leader, and Kyle Lang, who is in second. We'll detail a little bit more about what that means coming to the main. But first, we got to get you the starting lineup for this feature. And on the pole is Josh Vlock in the 76C, and next to him, Joe Decker in car number 86.
Row number 2, sponsored by Joe's Tree and Timber LLC, the 68 of Kaylee Decker. On the outside, sponsored by Thorpe Fruit Stands, it's the 9 of Cody Graham.
Third row, McMullen Construction sponsors the 51Z of John Zaretsky. Your points leader starts outside row 3, the 66 of Gabe Sessler, sponsored by Mazda of Everett.
Sponsored by Dirt Cheap Sewer, it's the 30B of Braden Wager. On the outside, the 11C of Chad Center, sponsored by Mazda of Everett.
Row number 5, it is the Phillips Law Firm number 33 of Kyle Lang. Next to him, 43 of Dylan Wolf, sponsored by Easy Street Auto Repair.
And row number 6, sponsored by Sharps Transportation, the 40 of Samantha Schwartz. On the outside, sponsored by TriMed, it's the Masonator, the 37 of Mason Nelson.
7th row is Ellie Musgrave in the 30, sponsored by LB Motorsports. Next to her, Jeremiah Johnson's 13.
Row number 8, the 2M of Jeff Mueller. On the outside is the 52 of Chad Bennett.
And behind them, 64 Deacon Postle in the Clean Crawls car, and the 2 of Tanner Bennett.
Row number 2, it's the 98 of Aaron Flett, sponsored by Kent Collision Center. On the outside, the 99 of Travis Blivens.
Behind them, Josh Wharton's 59W, who's sponsored by Steamboat Health and Wellness. Outside of him, the 65 of Nathan Adams.
Row number 12, it's the 10 of Chris Thompson, sponsored by Weatherite Roofing. And on the outside, the 29 of Owen Craig.
Final row, Dakota Gruchala in the Weatherite Roofing Inc. number 27D. Andrew Reel, the 69, is outside. Final row, we're ready to go. Green's out.
And what a start here. It looks like just at the very beginning, the 98 of Aaron Flett having some issues.
So Flett, around he goes. Little smoke and a replay coming down the front straightaway here. And around, and ooh, yeah, teed off on the right front of that car on the inside Uke tire there. Bad start for Mr. Flett. However, everybody else gets a second chance.
Yeah, and just like that, I say, what a great start here. And then as soon as I say that, then Aaron Flett goes into the tire. So that's probably my bad, Aaron.
Commentator's curse is what it was. You laid the whammy on him. So 3 in-car looks from your pole sitter, Vlock, Zaretsky, who is inside, and Sessler, who is outside of the third row. Full field in the upper right-hand corner. Be a fascinating look at the start as you'll get an idea of the speed sensation here of the INEX Legends.
Yeah, and what a great field here tonight, too, to be able to see all these cars for Championship Night number 1, brought to you by PRCBD. And there's the green flag, and we are racing here once again. Looks like a good start there as we come out of turn number 4. No issues as we come down the backstretch with the whole field.
So Vlock off to the early lead. Zaretsky's trying to work his way forward. He's in a battle for third at the moment as he tries to pick his way up and through. Vlock on lap number 1, but he's got a challenge working to the inside of him, as I believe. I don't know if that was Decker or which Decker that was darting inside. Might have been Kaylee, as we got a change in the race lead up in front.
Yeah, like you said, coming out as they come out of turn number 4 now here. Decker out in the front, and it's going to be, it looks like Joe Decker in the 86 car here coming down the front stretch into turn number 1 and going off a low there. It looks like maybe that is the 66 car of Gabe Sessler going to the low side out of turn number 2.
It is Sessler indeed, who has worked his way to 4th. So this is the way the points break down. It's 50 points to win the main event, and then down by 2 points per position from there. Sessler with an 8-point advantage. That means if he finishes 5th or better, he does own the tiebreaker over Kyle Lang. So 5th guarantees him the season championship. Lang needs to beat him by 5 spots. 5 spots no matter where the 2 cars finish, and Lang can win the championship, or if Sessler gets 5th, he locks the championship in.
And as it sits right now, Kyle Lang, you see him just coming out of turn number 2, sitting in 7th spot now, battling for 6th as everybody's chasing the 86 of Joe Decker. And Vlock, it looks like we're going to have a challenge here from the 66 of Gabe Sessler coming to the low side. Sessler now looks to be working his way up into that 3rd spot.
Yep, he's looking to seal that championship with a W here, trying to follow John Zaretsky through. Zaretsky, who picked up 2nd place. The 30 of Braden Wager is technically in the points as well, but it would have to take it's a very long shot for him to end up doing it. Both Sessler and Lang would have to end up very deep in the field, and Wager would darn near have to win the thing in order to get it.
And look at the 3 you were just talking about here, Sessler, Lang, and also Wager, in, kind of in uniform there with the 66 car leading them out here, as it looks like trying to take a look to the low side in turn number 4 is Wager, but not able to do anything there with Gabe Sessler in the 66 car.
And funny enough, it's our 4-time and defending champion in the 11 of Chad Sinner, who is mathematically eliminated. He is the only track champion in Evergreen Speedway history for the INEX Legends, and he will not be repeating for the 5th time this year, but showing his quality and showing his speed as he wants to get up there and try to win this race here at the very end of the season.
Yeah, just what a great competitor the 11C car is, as we see Wager now kind of going back and forth with the 66 of Sessler coming out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. Wager awful close here to the 66 car as they come into turn number 3, and Lang trying to do whatever he can to get around that 11C of Chad Sinner. Nothing happening so far for that 33 car.
So Sessler's going to cede the spot to Wager, and it looks like he's going to cede the spot to Sinner, as Chad Sinner's got to move to the inside of Gabe. And yeah, looking to take the spot. He's going to have it off of turn number 4, so move Sinner forward. And here's the big one. Can Lang get past Sessler? He can. Gabe Sessler going the wrong way here at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, and Sessler just now able to close back behind Lang as they come out of turn number 2, because the 43 car of Dylan Wolf was coming up trying to take that same low line that we saw Chad Sinner and Kyle Lang take as they come down the front stretch here once again. 19 laps to go. Everybody chasing the 86 of Joe Decker, then it's Braden Wager, Chad Sinner, and it looks like now just giving up that spot to the 43 of Dylan Wolf. So some issues there for Gabe Sessler as we saw him kind of get to the low side there on the backstretch.
I know Sessler was experimenting with his front brake pads this week. I don't know if that's what's ending up having him go backwards like he is. We've got a bid for the lead, and looks like Wager's going to take it. Also of note here comes Sinner on through, but with Sessler dropping out of 5th, now the door is open for Kyle Lang if he can put that thing in the lead.
And Lang now just cruising into that 3rd spot, getting around Decker. So now it's Braden Wager, and then it's Chad Sinner and Kyle Lang, your top 3. And look at Dylan Wolf making a great move there on Decker in that 43 car coming out of turn number 2 now down the backstretch. But what a run right now for the 30B of Braden Wager.
Good job by the kid, one of the youngest competitors here in the field in the INEX Legends. Wager leads, Sinner in pursuit. Lang needs 2 more spots as it sits right now if he wants the championship over Sessler, and Sessler can't afford to back up any further with Kyle Lang running as strong as he is.
And at a certain point, too, you got to think that Sessler's spotter is reaching out to Chad Sinner's spotter and saying, hey, whatever you got to do, just keep that 33 car behind you. That's all we need right now.
We've got 2 cars together as the yellow lights flash on. We are being told Mason Nelson's 37 and Josh Vlock's 76, the 2 cars involved. And well, we've got to look at it in the replay. Let's see what happens.
So Mason Nelson here coming to the low side and just getting looped up there with the 76. So unfortunate there in turn number 4, and looks like able to get things going. So Josh Vlock just gets spun around there by Mason Nelson as they come into turn number 4. He will get things going here once again. It looks like maybe Tanner Bennett might have got a little contact there with the 76C as well.
Vlock got lucky at the point in time that he went around on the racetrack with the field coming, that there was no additional cars getting into him at that point in time. We've seen that happen here in the INEX Legends quite a bit. So just about ready to go back to action. We're going to quad box this deal. Wager, your pole sitter, Sinner outside of him on the front row, and then Lang, who's chasing Gabe Sessler, running 3rd and 6th respectively, are all on the screen. Big thank you to the Brandy Hood Promotions crew. Brandy and her wonderful GoPro footage that we use every week here on Home Track Heroes.
Yeah, what a great view here, and it's going to be very interesting to see on this restart here as we go green flag racing once again. Braden Wager looks like to still be battling the 11C of Chad Sinner, goes off low in turns 1 and 2, trying to hold on. Sinner goes a little bit wide down the backstretch as they come into turn number 3. Sinner with the advantage just on the high side as they come in. He's trying to close in there on Braden Wager, but Wager doing a great job battling back and forth as they're Another lap down here, and Wager's going to continue on that low side.
What a great side-by-side battle out in front of this field as Wager looking to reestablish that spot. Lang coming through on the bottom. Kyle Lang looking to pick up a spot, but Sessler is battling to try to get back to 5th in the process. Lang will get 2nd. Wolf is looking for 3rd underneath Sinner as Sessler making the move to try to get to 5th. Again, if Sessler can get to 5th, championship is guaranteed for him. He hasn't quite got there yet as they continue to go side by side off the corner.
Yeah, it's a great battle for that 5th spot as Braden Wager now has the 33 of Kyle Lang right behind him as they come into 1 and 2. Dylan Wolf did take over that spot from Chad Sinner for 3rd, with Sinner closely following behind as they come down the backstretch. But it's going to be a great battle, I think, between the 30B of Braden Wager and the 33 of Kyle Lang as they come out of turn number 4 down the front stretch. Just 12 laps now to go.
Wow. So Wager with Lang right on him. They're like peanut butter and jelly just going together as Sinner trying to work his way back to the inside of Dylan Wolf. That's for 3rd. See if one of those two cars can separate as Sinner's got the preferred line. See if he can get her done going into 1. Meanwhile, we've got a lead change, or at least a perspective one. Can Lang stick the move in 1 and 2? Down the back straightaway, he can. New race leader Kyle Lang.
And right now, Gabe Sessler is in that 5th spot. So, as you said, this is going to be very tight towards the end. But Kyle Lang in the 33 car just taking over now, and we have 11 laps to go.
So Lang is out and leading, doing what he has to do here. This segment on Home Track Heroes brought to you by Bardall Manufacturing. Located in Seattle, it's a world leader in automotive lubricants with oils, additives, and lubricants for your car, truck, boat, or motorized toy. Pick the brand racers around the world rely on. Bardall, celebrating over 82 years in business and operating in 90 countries. Make Bardall your brand.
So right now, if you are the 66 car of Gabe Sessler, are you just hoping that everything stays the same? We got to stay, yellow free for the rest of this race, because right now Kyle Lang is in that lead. We have Braden Wager that's challenging very hard as they come out of turn number 2, heading down towards the backstretch. But Chad Sinner, Dylan Wolf kind of spaced out a little bit here. So a lot of room here for Sessler to just try and hold on to that 5th spot as we see Braden Wager still continuing to challenge that 33 car of Kyle Lang as they come down the front stretch.
Man, I got to think there's equal parts pressure on both of those drivers at the moment. Lang knows he can't afford to give up this top spot because his spotter's going to be saying, Sessler's in 5th, got to hold it. Meanwhile, Sessler in 5th knows he can't go backwards. He cannot make a misstep. And it looks like Wager's got the preferred line going into 1. We might see another lead change here.
And it looks like Chad Sinner's going to try and do the same thing. If Braden Wager's able to hold that low line, Sinner now goes to the outside, but he's going to tuck down to the low side, and he's hoping that the 33 of Kyle Lang's going to be caught on the high side as they come down out of turn number 4. Braden Wager completes the pass. Your new race leader, Chad Sinner, is doing the same thing, taking that same line. Now Chad Sinner in the 11C is passing the 33 of Kyle Lang. Now all of a sudden Lang back in 3rd, and here comes Dylan Wolf.
Wow, this is bad for Lang, who was up in front. He was in the top spot and now has shuffled back 2. Make it 3 positions in the course of 2 laps here as Wolf makes his way underneath as well. And there's only 4 laps to go here, Greg.
Yeah, it's getting very tight here towards the end. And an issue coming out of turn number 1, it looks to be the 69 of Andrew Reel that's getting spun around, and also the 59 car having some issues there, Josh Wharton. So unfortunate there towards the end. We see a little bit more dirt action being thrown up.
I just wanted to do a little landscaping for us off the bottom of turn number 2. Let's take a look and see what the Home Track Heroes camera crew caught into the turn. Just a little too getting into the corner warm was Andrew Reel, and unfortunately takes 1 car with him. So we're going to get a tight, bunched up field here for what could be our final restart of this race. And there is so much on the line. Braden Wager, Chad Sinner on the front row. Dylan Wolf, 2nd in points. Kyle Lang outside row 2. Points leader Gabe Sessler starts inside row number 3.
Yeah, and that's going to be a huge starting point there for the 66 of Gabe Sessler, as we'll see how this restart goes here, and we'll see what the 33 of Kyle Lang can do as they come out of turn number 4. Green flag out, and we are underway here once again with 4 laps to go, like you said, Caleb. But look at this here. It looks like there's going to be a great battle here still between that 1st and 2nd spot between Wager and Sinner. And it looks like Gabe Sessler now trying to work to the low side. He's trying to take all doubt out and pass by the 33 of Kyle Lang as they come out of turn number 4.
Well, they are still side by side in the first couple of rows, and there it is. That's the bid. That's to make the move. Sessler had to back out of it, though, coming out of turn number 2. And Lang's going to get away, so things are still in question here, although Sessler in 5th is in no danger so long as he doesn't back up another spot with 2 laps remaining.
Yeah, so they come across the start-finish line here. Braden Wager in the 30B, your leader. Dylan Wolf in that 2nd spot now, and then Kyle Lang in the 33, taking over that 3rd spot. Chad Sinner falling back just a little bit, but Gabe Sessler coming with this group in your top 5 as they come out of turn number 4. White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Braden Wager, your leader.
Well, Wager looking to take the win here on PRCBD Championship Night number 1, presented by Evergreen Health of Monroe. 2 more corners to do it, 2 more corners to determine the championship. The win goes to Wager. The title goes to the 22-year-old Gabe Sessler. Driving the Matt and Ginger Pioli Mazda of Everett sponsored number 66. Let's talk to your top 3 and your champion on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Chad, you kind of had to charge through the field the top 5 a few different times. You guys were slicing and dicing with Braden as well as Dylan. Gabe was up there for a while. Looked like it was a great battle up at the front of the field.
Yeah, it was a fun, tough race. It was just waiting for somebody to make a mistake and take advantage of it. All around, it was great racing, and honestly, I think the best one all year.
It was a great show, and I know last race didn't wind up the way you wanted. You guys had to do a lot of work to this 11 car to get it back together. How much did it take back in the shop to get this thing running this good again, coming back fresh out of the trailer after pretty much a whole rebuild of the right side?
I honestly didn't touch it until yesterday, and I don't know, it's still fast, but there's still some things that need to be fixed.
I'd like to thank everybody that helps to get this 11C out here.
Yeah, I can't thank Mazda of Everett, Crossroads Towing, Palmer's East, Elevate Racing Media, Brandy Hood Promotions, Eastside Speed Shop, Imperial Auto Salon, all my friends and family that support me, and I finally get this little guy up here, so that's where the main focus has been this year, but we'll regroup and I got to pass the torch of the title this year, so congrats to Gabe, everyone else, Mazda of Everett, so we'll see you next year.
There he is, your 3rd place finisher, Chad Sinner in the 11C, rounding out his season with a strong finish. Dylan, I know it was a great battle up in front, as we mentioned with Chad, quite a few guys mixing it up on that last restart. What was the game plan to try and pick off a few spots?
Yeah, I just knew I had to not let anybody get in my head, just keep calm, don't rush anything, don't make any contact, and I knew it'd come to me.
I know also getting the outside and trying to make that outside line work in these things, especially with them being such momentum race cars, what was it like trying to roll the top and try to get around a few guys as well?
Well, yeah, there's not much grip up on the top, but you can make it stick. You can make it roll around there.
Who you guys got helping you out for the 43 this year?
Well, I got to thank my dad for putting the car together with me and teaching me everything I know, and then Easy Street Auto Repair, the lineup, 7. What's the other one? All right, whatever, yeah.
We'll get it in next year. Dylan Wolf brings home a 2nd place run. Nicely done, Dylan, in the 43 cab. Well, Braden, not the first time we've seen you up here in the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort Winner's Circle. This one you had to work for, though. I think you had 4 or 5 guys either inside of you or directly behind you all throughout those final 10 laps.
Yeah, everyone was right behind me or close to me and battling with me. It was a tough battle. I was getting a little bit squirrely, but I was doing my best to hold it down and have a fun race.
I know Kyle got around you there for a few laps. How did you manage to get back around him coming off of 4?
I realized that I got to drive it a little bit harder, and I always do better chasing. So I started following. I started running my line. I started chasing him down, and then it started working out a little bit better.
Always good when you have a little bit of a carrot in front of you to be the rabbit chasing it. I know 30 car always beautifully presented. Who do you got on the side of that thing?
Yeah, this car is awesome. I'm pretty grateful for who got it for me, but I would really like to thank Francesca and Colin King, Dirt Cheap Stewards, Pacific Street Rods, Purcell, Central Welding Supply, and my mom, my dad, and all the fans for coming out here tonight.
Braden Wager getting the job done in the 30B. Nicely done, Braden. Gabe, I think it was you had to finish 5th to guarantee it, and you just slotted in there in the top 5. That last restart, though, had to have you a little bit anxious ahead of dropping the green.
Yeah, I just knew I kind of had to finish 1 or 2 spots behind Kyle, and tonight we were struggling all day with the car, just trying to make it better and better. We finally got it to the point where it was decent on a 2 or 3 lap run, but after that it fell off big time. Hats off to my crew, Joe, Haley, Matt, Mazda of Everett, Pioli Racing, Angela, everybody today. Oh, Cole Cooey. Everybody was just working their butts off to make this thing better for me, so I can't thank them enough.
Almost helped you then having that short run to end the thing.
Say it again?
Almost helped you then to have that short run to end the thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I saw the caution come out 4 to go. I was like, ooh, this is our chance, sitting in 5th. So we were able to hold on.
I know you got the sponsor plugs in. Who else you got helping you out? I know the 66 car has been on rails all year long.
I can't thank everybody enough. Mazda of Everett, Joe's Racing Products, Pioli Racing, Haley Constance, my spotter. She's probably going to go impress you guys in the Pro Late Model race later, so it's going to be pretty sweet.
Gabe Sessler, your 2023 champ, the 66. Nicely done, Gabe.
You're tuned into Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. Been a fun show so far. We just crowned our 2nd champion of the night, and we're ready to crown number 3 here in the BECU Mini Stocks. My name's Caleb Hart. He's Greg Pyland, and your pole sitter for the BECU Mini Stock main event, it's the Tom's Automotive number 24, the Cookie Queen, Jaden Kelly. Next to her, it's Brooklyn Bender, the PRCBD number 18.
In row number 2, sponsored by Raritan Engines, it's the 12 of Gavin Belu. On the outside, the 33 of Ryan Hassenfluck.
Row number 3 is Justin Brave, the Clean Crawls 21J. Travis Woodward next to him in the 16, sponsored by Brava Pizza in Snohomish.
In row number 4, sponsored by PRCBD.com, it's the 221 of Lyndon Smith. On the outside, it's the 61 of Randy Ditmars, sponsored by ATR Andrews Truck Repair.
And Jason Engbaum starts in 9th. Lewis and Main Restaurant and Brewery in Monroe sponsors him. 9 cars, 30 times around. Your points champion, I believe, just by taking the green flag, is Lyndon Smith in the PRCBD.com at number 221. So congratulations to him, picking up his first Evergreen Speedway track title.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very exciting here for the 221 of Lyndon Smith. And, if that was me, I know Lyndon's more of a competitor than I am, but if I was in that 221 car, I'd probably do 1 lap or so and then maybe head into the pits and grab myself a nice meal after that race.
Well, he's looking to come out and play a little spoiler here tonight, because the guy who's 2nd in points and starting outside the row ahead of him, that is Travis Woodward, has won 4 BECU Mini Stock main events in a row. Trying to make it 5 here, and he doesn't want somebody else raining on his celebration. Lyndon wants to cap the title with a win.
Yeah, and the Cookie Queen, the 24, Jaden Kelly, starting on the pole, getting a little bit loose, holding off, and there's the 221 of Lyndon Smith, having some issues there in turn number 3, or just heading into turn number 3, able to get things rolling here once again as we see the 16 of Travis Woodward passing by the 24 of the Cookie Queen. That is Jaden Kelly.
Justin Brave in the 3rd spot in the 21 car with a very fast-looking ride. He's gotten really quick here over the back half of this season, and Brave right now is actually up on Woodward, looking to make a move on him in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, able to tuck back behind the 16 cars. We take a look back here once again to the 24 of Jaden Kelly, but now back up to your leader, the 16 of Travis Woodward, running on the low side here from the 18 car of Brooklyn Bender. Bender is going to be on the outside. Here comes Woodward to the low side, going down to the low side into turn number 1, and it looks like Justin Brave going to do the same thing.
So Woodward makes the pass on Bender. He will take the top spot, and behind him comes Brave in the 21. We've got problems with Woodward getting around, and that was a weird snap spin out. He took Brave with him. So let's take a second look and see what happens here, as that's just strange. He gets in and yet saw something chunk up and fly off the race car as he got into the corner.
Yeah, and here goes just losing it coming into 3, and I don't think that's something that Travis Woodward typically does either. So like you said, not sure what happened there for the 16 car, but had some issues.
Yeah, so under caution flag here, we're getting things re-racked and restacked, and understand there was significant fluid down on the racetrack, so you're going to see a bunch of speedy dry in the middle of the outer portion of this track as these cars are coming through. Your new race leader is Brooklyn Bender in the 18, and next to her, it's Ryan Hausenfluck in his mini stock debut. And oh my goodness, look at that. It looks like a white Christmas out there as Jaden Kelly is slowing to a stop, and off into the grass goes Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden doing a little mowing there outside of turn number 2. Unfortunately, like you said, all that track dry leading to maybe some issues there for the 24 car.
Well, it could be visibility. You never know if that kicks up and maybe kicks onto your windshield with no way to knock the stuff off. That speedy dry is very adhesive to the fluid on the track. Get it on your window. It's a tough time getting that thing off.
Yeah, and unfortunate to be in the wrong place at the wrong time there. So hopefully the 24 car able to get things going. But as we work towards this restart here once again, it's the 18 of Brooklyn Bender on the inside, Ryan Hausenfluck on the outside. And look at that start here. Almost a challenge there almost immediately, but it looks like Ryan Hausenfluck going to go awful wide there, trying to stay out of that track dry as Brooklyn Bender takes over this lead.
So, Greg, take a look at that. Look at the lane that Travis Woodward's running in, and you can see it's almost as if he was in whatever the fluid that had come down that may have gotten him loose and spun him out there in turn 1. I didn't realize that the oil line or whatever it was came down as far into turn 3 as it was, because it put the right side tires right into it.
Yeah, and that's going to present maybe a problem here, obviously, with that track dry. Then they're not going to be as slippery of conditions here coming into turn number 3, but you're right, it's just in that low lane, so it'll be interesting to see which direction the cars try and take as they come into turns 3 and 4. Justin Brave going very low there on Travis Woodward, or actually Brooklyn Bender there in the lead, and so now it's Justin Brave out in front.
And Ryan Hausenfluck in his mini stock debut, running in second. Our defending Hornet Track champion is up into the 2 spot. Bender now 3, and you're right, these cars are having to race very conservatively here because there's an entire lane of racing that's just untenable at the moment.
Yeah, you're starting to see the separation, not as much side by side as we kind of see just towards the back end, the 16 of Travis Woodward now coming out of turn number 4, but Justin Brave is your leader, leading them around with Ryan Hausenfluck in that 2nd spot, Brooklyn Bender in 3rd, and it looks like Woodward now trying to challenge for that 3rd spot here with the 18 of Brooklyn Bender as they come down the backstretch. He's going to go very wide down the backstretch and then tuck into low side of turn number 3 and 4. And we'll see what the 16 car is going to do as they come down the front stretch.
This is the BECU Mini Stock main event, and it's brought to you by Central Welding Supply. Central Welding Supply's mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975. Locally owned, larger inventory and expert staff makes the difference at 27 locations. Find one near you at centralwelding.com.
Here's the battle for 3rd that we're watching with the 18 of Brooklyn Bender, the 16 of Travis Woodward. Woodward taking a look to the low side out of turn number 2, not having it there as they come down the backstretch. Bender going to that high side down the backstretch into the low side of turn number 3. Travis Woodward kind of choosing the time here to try and make the move on the 18 cars. They come down the front stretch with 20 laps now to go.
You know, as strong as Woodward has been, and especially entering in the bottom of 1, I wonder if he's playing things a little conservative here. Just not knowing what the car is going to do depending on where the drive tires are, because you can see the right side tires are in the speedy dry all through 3 and 4. That might also be playing a factor on the kind of run he can get into the bottom of 1 and 2.
Yeah, and really trying to come in low. We see Brooklyn Bender that's kind of staying in that middle lane in turns 1 and 2, and Woodward trying to take that low side and maybe stay out of some of that track dry, but we see they've probably worked it in pretty good into the track in turns 3 and 4, so it doesn't seem to be much of an issue there, but now Woodward right on the back bumper there of the 18 cars. They work their way into 1 out of 2, and still your leader, Justin Brave, 18 laps to go here.
This is all gravy for Brave out front. The further he can stretch, while Woodward, one of the fastest cars in the division, winner of 4 in a row, is behind Bender and not getting past, is all good stuff. He'll take another look to the inside in turn 1 and backed out of her on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, so not leaving a lot of opportunities here for the 16 car of Travis Woodward is Brooklyn Bender in the 18 car and sticking to that low side out of turn number 4 coming down the front stretch. 16 laps to go. Justin Brave, Ryan Hausenfluck 1st and 2nd, but really the excitement here is the battle for third between Brooklyn Bender and Travis Woodward as they come down the backstretch.
And to her credit, Brooklyn has had Travis the whole way. Travis has never had her covered to where he could actually take the lane and force her to stick up racetrack. So Woodward's still looking for that run that's going to be good enough to make her flinch, and Brooklyn hasn't done it yet. Ballou and Engbaum, a spot back from them as they continue to race, but this is for third between the 18 of Brooklyn Bender and the 16 of Travis Woodward, and we are halfway home.
And it looks like Woodward almost had an opportunity there to go to the low side, but like you said, maybe just trying to be very conservative there going into that turn, doesn't want to lose it again, and had those issues earlier on in this race in turn number 3. So Woodward now going to try and take a look to the outside, possibly coming into 3 and 4 once again. But you know, that last time around coming down the backstretch, looks like it had an opportunity there for Travis Woodward, but wasn't able to capitalize.
Woodward right on the rear bumper cover of Bender and doing a good job of racing her hard, but not touching her. We haven't seen them make contact yet. Woodward going to sail it into the middle again in turn number 3, but backs out of it on corner exit. And let's see if he tucks back in line to try to the bottom of 1 and 2. He will not. He'll actually use the middle groove, and you can see get into the speedy dry and just kind of hesitate there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see if that's just maybe trying something a little bit different going to that middle groove, like you said, as we look back to the 27 of Engbaum as battling back and forth here into turn number 4 with Gavin Ballou. And great job there by the 27 of Engbaum.
Engbaum's got a new car already being built for 2024. So the current 27 car is going to move on to a new owner, and we'll have another new mini stock out with us, courtesy Jason Engbaum.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. Taking over driving duties this year from his wife, Tiffany. So we continue to watch the battle up front. Bender's 18, and the 16 of Woodward has been the race to watch here during this main event. We've only got 10 laps to go, and Woodward, again, going to try the middle. He's got a really good run here in turn 3 this time.
You got to think if you're Ryan Hassenfluck or if you're Justin Brave, you're very happy that Brooklyn Bender's holding off the 16 car for this long, as we see Travis Woodward going to the outside, still side by side with Bender, but Bender a little bit faster down the backstretch, able to hold off. But now here comes Ryan Hassenfluck. So is this going to be a help or a hindrance here for the 18 car trying to hold on to that third spot? We'll see as Travis Woodward goes to the low side down the front stretch into 1 and 2.
Up high, he got his tires into the kitty litter coming off of turn number 2 and couldn't accelerate, but that caused Bender to do something a little bit different in turn 3, and Travis finally got the run underneath coming into 1 and 2. He finally gets the spot. Now he's right up on Ryan. In his mini stock debut, looking to knock him out of a podium finish here as Hassenfluck in second and in danger of losing a spot, maybe 2, to Travis Woodward. As there's a look at race leader Justin Brave just cruising all by himself.
Yeah, and Brave now coming up on Gavin Ballou in the 12 car as they come down the backstretch into 3, but great big lead here for the 21J of Justin Brave. We don't see Travis Woodward yet in the frame, so big job here by the 21J as we have 6 laps to go, and he's just cruising. And there's a look, and it looks like Brooklyn Bender getting to the low side of Ryan Hassenfluck as they're in turn 3 and 4, and great job there by the 18 car, able to get by the 33.
So Bender reclaims a podium spot. 5 laps to go, and take nothing away from Ryan, who out there in a Volkswagen, making a heck of a debut for him. Highest finishing Volkswagen so far of the top 3, I believe. Or of the field. A lot of Mustangs in this class. The Ford Mustang is I want to say a preferred platform because guys have figured out how to make the Mustang's power, work with the suspension, get it around the corners. The Volkswagens were in vogue for about a decade or so until Mustang technology kind of came around. They started figuring it out and getting her there. But, hey, looking at it, the V-Dubs trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, and like you said, doing a great job here for 33 of Ryan Hassenfluck, still keeping pace with Brooklyn Bender in the 18 car, and it looks like continuing to take that middle groove too here and trying to stay out of maybe some of that track drives, the 33 car. But we take a look back to your leader once again, the 21J of Justin Brave, coming up on the 27 of Jason Engbaum.
And I should clarify, I think that's a Volkswagen. It looks Volkswagen-esque. It looks like a Scirocco or a Rabbit, right? Yeah. I could be wrong. Sometimes I get my make and model a little bit screwed up. But
I think it's a Rabbit with a wing. I think you're spot on.
Ooh, a Rabbit with a wing. Sounds prehistoric. Your leader, Justin Brave, is rolling his way through. Second feature win for Justin on the year. Congratulations to him as he gets the job done. Woodward, his streak of 4 in a row is over, but he'll take second. Third coming to Brooklyn Bender. Your champion is Lyndon Smith, and we'll talk to him on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Well, Brooklyn, first of all, it was a great battle between you and Travis there for about 10 laps or so, where you were trading back and forth the third spot, which turned into fourth. And how do you manage to try and track down Ryan in those last few laps with the 33 to get back up on the podium?
To be honest, when Travis finally got by me, I just stayed right with him to get past that other car, and it worked out really well for me.
Sometimes kind of regrouping and getting in line behind some of the quicker guys kind of helps with that, and you kind of figure out the line a little bit.
Yeah, I went a little too low, and, we probably would have beat Travis if I didn't do that. But, I am a rookie, so.
Trying to get this thing dialed in. I know at the start of the year with all the wet weather was a little bit of a challenge, but as the season's gone on, this car looks like it's been getting stronger and stronger. Who do you have to thank for that, and who helps to get out on the racetrack as well?
Big thanks to Joel and PRCBD, because I wouldn't be here without them. Same with my dad and my Uncle Wayne. They do so much for me, and I'm just so thankful.
Brooklyn Bender, third place tonight in the 18. Nicely done, Brooklyn. Well, Travis, we talked with Justin about having to drive through the field. The racetrack probably wasn't at its best, but the 16 car, you had a great battle with Brooklyn coming back through, and second place has to feel like a little bit of a salvage job after the start of it.
Yeah, when we went into lead and got that oil, man, I thought we were done for the night. But this crew's amazing. Sponsors are amazing. Racing with these guys is amazing. Congrats to Lyndon. Pretty sure he won the championship. We were trying to go for 5 in a row, but things happen. We'll regroup, come back next year.
I know it's been a solid season on the whole. Who do you got helping get this 16 car out each and every weekend for one final thank you on the season?
Well, I got to thank Simon & Son Towing, Brava Pizza, Moonshine Barbecue, RBD Fabrication, FX Pro, Caliber Collision, Elevate Racing Media, and I got to JR44, Mike Marthaler sets this car up. We've had help from Lane, my crew, Terry. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people behind this thing.
Travis Woodward, second to round out his 2023 season in the 16. Nicely done, Travis. Justin Brave, man, you had a little bit of a struggle there in the first bit with contact going into turn number 3, where Travis, I think, got in some of the oil that got laid down, and you just managed to sneak on through.
Yeah, I made a little contact. Thankfully, nothing bad happened. The car was still running good, and thankfully, even with all the speed drive, we were able to make it stick. And the car felt great, handled beautifully, even with all this stuff. It was a long but good race.
Who do you like to thank with the 21J Cam?
Yeah, couldn't do this without J2 Racing, Clean Crawls, Paces Engineering, Central Welding, Eden Gate Farm, Ben for all the amazing motor work. Also, a huge thank you to my brother, my friends for coming out to help and visit. And then, of course, my parents for all the love and support they give.
Justin Brave, your main event winner tonight in the BECU Mini Stocks and the 21J. Lyndon, it's been a long year. I know this wasn't quite the way you wanted to finish things off in the pit area, unfortunately, after a little bit of an early incident. But what does it feel like to get the championship after a long, hard-fought season?
I mean, it's rewarding. Right now, it feels kind of rough. I got to say sorry to everybody who came out, to all my fellow mini stock drivers I had to deal with the sand dunes I made. But yeah, it was a hard-fought season.
I know. Who else do you like to thank with the 221 car?
I got to thank my main sponsor, PRCBD, Central Welding, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, JBR, the Riddells. They've helped me all season long, Riley and Dave, Uncle Wayne, Bill Hunt, my family, my spotter, my stepdad, everybody from PRCBD who's come out tonight and all the previous races, and then all the fans who stayed to watch.
Lyndon Smith, your 2023 champ in the 221. Nicely done, Lyndon. Congratulations again to all of the champions who have been crowned so far. There it is. The champagne has finally been sprayed tonight. John Bender with the duties.
You're tuned into Seattle 11. You're watching Home Track Heroes here from Evergreen Speedway. Big thank you for being a part of our Sunday night. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Greg Pineland, and we've got more championships to hand out as it is time for the Tire Pros Street Stocks and their 30-lap A main event. Gene Watson starts in the pole. SCE, Snohomish County Trucking and Excavating, his sponsor. Next to him, the points leader and defending champion, 41 of Mark Hubbard, sponsored by Interstate Batteries.
Row number 2, sponsored by Direct Carpet Cleaning. It's the 44 of Mike Marthaler. On the outside, it's the 06 of Steve Potasic, sponsored by Lang Auto Sports.
Row number 3, the guy chasing Hubbard is the 3-car of Jesse Jensen, sponsored by Tire Pros. Next to him, Austin Camp, the 69, sponsored by Ad Taxi.
In row number 4, it's the 51 of Jeff Watson, sponsored by SCE, Snohomish County Trucking and Excavating. On the outside, the 15 of Brent Rohr, sponsored by Harding Motorsports.
5th row inside, the Big Block Brewing, number 7 of Mike Shimmick. Next to him, Travis Blackwood in car number 5.
In row number 6, it's the 85 of Jim Fody, sponsored by Trademark RCS. On the outside, the 22 of Kenny Erickson, sponsored by AFC Forestry.
The 7th row is Chase Jones in the 14. Next to him, the 10 of Cameron Iverson, sponsored by Jim Heller Racing.
Row number 8, it's the 44 of Charles Davis. On the outside, the 27X of Jerry Helm.
And Billy Decker is the final driver in this field. So we have got 15 cars, 30 laps around. Mark Hubbard finishes 7th or better, and it's academic. He wins this. Jesse Jensen's got a mathematical shot at it, but a lot's going to have to play out correctly for him in order for that to happen. Green flag out. Gene Watson on the inside, looking smooth, getting a neat little challenge on the outside from Hubbard, who's looking to cap the championship with a win.
Yeah, Hubbard doing a great job here, running side by side on the outside with Gene Watson on the low side. Kind of a little more of that track tries. We see Mike Marthaler flipping a little bit of that up in the 44 car, but looks like Hubbard goes very wide. A little bit of sparks coming off the back end of that 41 car as they come into turn number 3. But out of 4, Gene Watson still doing a great job. The 28 car, 28 laps to go now.
28 for the 28. Let's see if he can go the distance. Hubbard, and you're seeing it too with the speedy dry up there. That might be affecting the way that race car is handling on the early goings, although it looks like 3 and 4 is cleaned off relatively nicely. It's 1 and 2 that's still got that, I don't know, the sandstorm that's kicking up.
Yeah, and they look like they're doing their best to maybe work that into the track as much as they can, as we see lots of cars going low, not as much being kicked up that time. Great battle here, though, for that 3rd spot between the 44 of Mike Marthaler. On the high side is going to be the 06 of Steve Potasic as they come out of turn number 4, and Jesse Jensen in the 3-car right behind them, sitting in that 5th spot.
Hubbard's got the advantage that time, at least getting into the first corner, and on the ticker you can see he took the lead over, but Watson with a really good inside of 1 and 2 is there again. The sparks out of Hubbard, I saw that, and strange that was on the back straightaway. He wasn't cornering quite yet when the sparks came up, so something to pay attention to for Mark as this race starts to mature.
You know, I just wonder if he wants to let everybody know gas is $5.50 a gallon now, and he's got a full tank, so he's getting some sparks down on the backstretch.
Could very well be. You know, the fuel load burns off as the race goes on. As that happened, the car lightens up in the back end, but early you can certainly see the extra weight in that fuel cell that's over the rear wheels kind of bottoming out as he gets ready to set into the corner. So it's a feasible explanation. Let's see if the sparkage continues. Don't see any that time as he pulls even with Watson entering turn 3.
Man, what a fun race we are. We're just 6 laps, just about 7 laps in right now, and they're still side by side for that first spot. Gene Watson, Mark Hubbard in the 41, and in that second row, the 44 of Mike Marthaler and the 06 of Steve Potasic. Right now, they're holding off the 3 of Jesse Jensen, currently sitting in 5th. But, man, just a lot of fun to watch all this side-by-side racing here as they come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, that second row hasn't budged. They've been door panel to door panel, number to number here for basically all 7 laps of this main event so far. Jensen's just waiting for one of those lanes to break loose. We know the 3 car is good enough to race high or low, depending on where it is, but heck, if they're side by side, you got nothing that you can do. Yellow lights are blinking on, and that's going to give us a chance to restart as the 15 of Brent Rohr and the 5 of Travis Blackwood, we understand, are the 2 cars that got together, and we'll get a second look at it coming up right now.
Yeah, so here's a look from Mike Shimmick on the inside here, and it looks like just a little bit of contact. The 5 kind of getting up on that back rear tire there of the 15, so unfortunate there early on in this race.
Well, knock those couple of cars out, line them up 2 by 2, although, heck, they were already 2 by 2 in the first couple of rows around, and we'll get a chance to restart and look at the in-car shots, this time from Gene Watson, who is going to be on the outside, and Jesse Jensen, who's on the inside of row number 3.
You know, and it's so interesting to me, too, Caleb, when you watch some of these restarts, when those drivers in that first spot able to take the choice, and you see here the 28 of Gene Watson taking that outside as we come out of turn number 4. for the green flag, and we're restarted here. And Mark Hubbard doing such a great job there in the 41, taking this lead here early on. So Gene Watson maybe not choosing the correct lane to sit in there as they come down the backstretch here once again, and he's now taking a look of the backside of the 41 car.
You got to give him a little bit of, I don't know, young driver pass on that one, as Watson, both Watsons have minimal time here in the street stock division. So still figuring out and going, and unfortunately outside lane didn't work out so well for Gene as he cedes the lead and cedes second here on the restart as Potasic has gotten by, and now Jesse Jensen to the inside of Watson. He'll take third.
Yeah, but what a great restart here for the 3 of Jesse Jensen as he comes from that 5th spot now up into 3rd. He's right behind Steve Potasic and the 06 Gene Watson falling off a little bit. Here comes the 69 of Austin Camp, and Mike Marthaler having some issues here as he's fallen back side by side now with the 51 of Jeff Watson.
I think we've seen that the outside lane's really hard to make work, and again, especially through the outside of turn number 2. You see Marthaler kind of trying to squeeze underneath it, but that may not be the fastest way around the racetrack as he's in a wicked battle now for what looks like about 6th place.
And Jesse Jensen in the 3 car just into turn number 3 gets side by side with Steve Potasic and now takes over that 2nd spot. So great move coming out of turn number 3 and 4 is the 3 of Jesse Jensen able to take over that 2nd spot. Now Steve Potasic trying to hold form and stay in that 3rd spot as we see Gene Watson in that 28 car trying to come back up into that 3rd place spot, looking for a spot on the podium.
Right now, Jensen in 2nd trying to run down Hubbard. This race, this segment, and Home Track Heroes overall brought to you by Interstate Batteries. For all your battery needs, cars, trucks, vans, or electric vehicles, Interstate Batteries, your one stop for flashlights, cell phones, even key fob batteries. Visit Interstate Batteries in Everett.
So we take a look here once again. Jesse Jensen coming out of turn number 2. Mark Hubbard in the 41 car with a comfortable lead. Now back to the 06 of Steve Potasic and Gene Watson in the 28 car. Austin Camp in the 69 right behind as they come out of turn number 4. But Hubbard just kind of smooth and comfortable right now with 15 laps down, 15 laps to go.
Interesting post-caution flag where we had seen so much side-by-side. A lot of nose to tail and single file now. The race flipped very quickly.
It definitely did, yeah. It was a lot of fun watching it, and Jesse Jensen's going to make things very interesting. He's slowly but surely creeping up on the 41 car of Mark Hubbard as we take a look once again back to the 06 of Steve Potasic, holding on to that 3rd spot from the 28 of Gene Watson as they come down the backstretch. But Gene doing a good job holding pace with the 06 car, trying to battle here as they come out of turn number 4, looking for a spot to try and challenge that 3rd place spot from the 06 of Steve Potasic.
We might have a couple of concurrent side-by-side battles depending on how this times out as you look at Jensen, who's about as close to Hubbard as Watson was to Potasic. Now, Hubbard took the middle here in through the corner. That opens the low side for Jesse. Can he get even with him going into 1? He can. Number to number in the turn, and off the apex, Jensen is nosed ahead.
Yeah, and what a good job here by the 3 of Jesse Jensen. And Mark Hubbard maybe had a little bit more speed coming off of turn number 2 down the backstretch, but Jesse Jensen holding firm as they come out of turn number 4, and now he's going to be fully passing the 41 car. So your new race leader, the 3 of Jesse Jensen, as they come out of turn number 2.
Jensen, who is your quick qualifier and heat race winner, is got his eyes on a clean sweep here to finish off PRCBD Championship Night number 1, presented by Evergreen Health of Monroe, as Jensen putting a guy a lap down and Hubbard losing touch with him relatively quickly.
Yeah, and it looks like Steve Potasic still holding on to that 3rd place spot from Gene Watson, but as you said, Jesse Jensen now starting to pull away from the 41 car of Mark Hubbard as they come into turn number 3 and 4. Still a great battle here for that 3rd spot as we take a look once again. Gene Watson in the 28 car and that multicolored 06 Steve Potasic holding on to that 3rd place spot.
Potasic doing a nice job of making consistent laps and forcing Watson to really find his way around him and not giving him an easy opportunity to just blow back by. Potasic, the former Trek champion in and of himself, sitting 3rd and trying to hold strong for a podium here at the end of the year. Watson wants on it, and he's looking low in 1 and 2, but there's no room to get by.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of success coming out of that low side of turns 1 and 2, but Steve Potasic doing a great job holding off as they come into 3 and 4 now. See if Gene's going to take a look to the low side. Maybe nothing happened there that time around as they come back around down the front stretch into 1 and 2 once again. Your leader still the 3 of Jesse Jensen, the 41 of Mark Hubbard in that second spot, and still holding firmly is the 06 of Steve Potasic, as Watson just looking for that time to shine, and maybe it's right now coming out of 4.
He's got the car angled as if he's going to make a bid in the bottom of turn number 1. Potasic tries to get low enough, but Watson close enough to take the lane. Side by side down the back straightaway, and Watson with the preferred line on the inside of the track. He will assume third place here with just 5 laps to go.
Like you said, Caleb, it all started coming out of that turn number 4. Great car position by the 28 of Gene Watson, able to turn that into a fast down the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2, and able to take over. And now Steve Potasic falling off just a little bit from Gene Watson as they come down the backstretch into 3, but just a great overall half a lap there from the 28 car, and he's rewarded with that third place spot.
Coming up on the slower traffic of Jerry Helm, who is a lap down. They'll try to sneak underneath him as Helm doing the sportsman-like thing, pulling out of the racing line and saying, all right, guys, there you go to the inside. That's 5th, 6th, and 7th we're looking at. Austin Camp 69, Mike Marthaler's 44. And feature winner on the year, Jim Fody in the 85 car in 7th place. What a great renaissance year it has been for the veteran in Fody.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch Jim Fody in that 85 car doing a great job. And Austin Camp kind of holding firmly. We saw Mike Marthaler, who was battling early on in that second row, and then with that restart kind of got caught in that middle groove and ended up losing a lot of action there, and now kind of falling back a little bit, but able to recover, and all he had to do is let about 5 cars get by him, and then he was able to get on that low groove and stop losing some of those spots to some of the other cars.
As the temperatures have cooled here on the year, Marthaler's performances have heated up as he has been up in the top 3 and threatening night in and night out. Might have just missed it by a little bit here tonight at Evergreen Speedway in a very competitive street stock division. That's your leader, Jesse Jensen. He's taking the white. He's coming to the checkered, and the driver of the Will Cruzmore, number 3, Dirk Cruzwick, Jeff Fillmore, Rob Wilkes, all putting that car together for him, will take the win, and he will take second in points as Mark Hubbard's second place will secure him the street stock track champion. Gene Watson's third. Let's go talk to him on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Gene, you had a great battle with Steve Potasic. How'd you manage to get around him there in the final few laps?
I think his car just got a little too tight, and luckily mine was pretty good all race. So it was fun racing with Steve.
I know I got to hurry things up a little bit with crunch time, but I'd like to thank for one final time everybody that helped you out and get Rookie of the Year with the 28.
Yeah, my wife, my dad, my mom, my brother, all the crew guys, Dave Lund and Doug Poirier, SEE, SNS Roofing, and Stack Design and Construction. I couldn't do without them.
Gene Watson caps off a strong rookie year in the 28 with the 3rd place finish tonight. Mark, 2nd place run. We were joking that you were trying to quite literally burn it down there with a burnout at the end, but consistency was key to getting the championship here for 2023.
You know, Jesse ran off all year. This is really his. He had the car to beat every week. He was great to race against, clean. Enjoyed it every time we got together out there. Thanks, Jesse.
I know you had a few rebuilds with the 41 over the course of the season, debuted a new paint scheme, and what was it like trying to get this car through the year and still trying to salvage and pick up top 5s after a few races where the thing had pretty much every single body panel knocked off of it?
Yeah, we had a rough year with electrical and a couple of accidents and a blown motor earlier in the year. But you know, we were here every week and ran as hard as we could. I have a crew that helped me get everything done to that car to come to the track to be prepared. I've got a group of people that have been helping me for 35 years. Tom Allen from Interstate Batteries, my mom and dad from Rick's Tire and Chevron, my brother, Tommy, Matt, Eric and Teresa. Dirk coached me through the year. Thank you, Dirk. But I couldn't do this without these people's support, and I love running in front of the fans, so thank you.
Mark Hubbard, your 2023 champion of the Tire Pro Street Stocks in car number 41. 2nd place in tonight's main event. We'll get the champagne sprayed, and we'll get Jesse Jensen up at the front. Hey, not too shabby. 2 for 5 up at the front with the champagne down at the front. Mark Hubbard, your champ, celebrating in style. Jesse, I know the second half of the season with this 3 car, it started out all being about fun, and man, you've had a ball with this car. It has been on rails all throughout the year, and it has to feel good to finish this thing off with another trip to the winner's circle.
Yeah, a lot of fun tonight. This group of guys races hard, puts on a show. It's a blast to race with each and every one of them. Congrats to Mark. He was so nervous tonight. Just a lot of behind-the-scenes drama that he was worried about, but I told him he had nothing to worry about. Just go drive your race, you'll be fine, and he did, and I'm really, really proud of him.
I'd like to thank everybody you got with Dirk and the gang. I know that puts this race car out on the racetrack every weekend.
Yeah, obviously Dirk and the boys, they work their butts off on the car. It's beautiful, it's fast, it's fun. I can't thank Ryan Berg, Tire Pros, enough for helping us out all year. Fast Eddie's here tonight, so thank you for all your help. The Payton family. We couldn't do it without any of them. Today's a special day for one of my biggest fans, Parker. She's 10 years old tomorrow, but we're celebrating today, so happy birthday, Parker. Enjoy it.
Jesse Jensen finishes his season off in the 3 Cab with the main event win. Congratulations to Jesse Jensen.
Final main event of the evening starts now here on Home Track Heroes. Time for the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models here on Seattle 11. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Greg Pyland from Evergreen Speedway. We go. We've got a 50-lap late model main event. Your pole sitter, Ted Lindgren, the American Image hair replacement number 88. Next to him, it's the 12 of Chad Fitzpatrick, sponsored by Trademark RCS.
In row number 2, it's the K9 Caden Holm, sponsored by Johansson Mechanical. On the outside, the 18 of Nama Lang, J&R Truck Rental, sponsored.
Third row, Haley Constance, car number 78, sponsored by Joe's Racing Products. Next to her, it's the 98 of Greg Bennett, sponsored by Bennett Design Construction.
Row number 4, it's the 45 of Nick Beecher, sponsored by Kendall Auto Group. On the outside, the 16 of Daniel Moore, sponsored by PRCBD.
Behind them, Colton Price, the Northwest Boiler number 14, and Chase Gardner, the HCI Steel Buildings number 32.
And final row, row number 6, it's the 5 of Brad Thomas, sponsored by Armageddon Arms. On the outside, the 027 of Jimmy Absher.
Making his late model debut, former mini stock driver. Understand that's the old Mike Jensen machine. So
yeah, very exciting here for Jimmy Absher.
He was Mr. Excitement in the mini stock. So let's see what happens here in the Pro Late. By taking the green flag, Nama Lang is going to win another track championship. That is multiples for him at minimum and back-to-back, as he picked up last year's track title as well. So congratulations to Nama, as we are just about ready to go. Lindgren, a rookie, quote-unquote, here in the late model division. And next to him, Fitzpatrick, as we go green here in this main.
Yeah, and great start there by Lindgren, as you see him and Chad Fitzpatrick in the 12C side-by-side coming out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. But Lindgren holding firmly in that spot where he started as they come out of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. Nama Lang in that second row back on the outside. So we'll see what happens here as Caden Holm trying to hold that spot on the low side. And we come up, Ted Lindgren still looking pretty sharp here.
So Lindgren leading in the early going with Fitzpatrick right there next to him. So you got the in-car view from Lang. You saw Constance kind of get into the door of Bennett there in through the corner, but both of them drive away as Fitzpatrick's going to get down on the race line, and that's going to secure the top spot for Chad. Fitzpatrick and Lindgren 1 and 2, and Lang trying to sail around the outside of Holm, working for position number 3.
Yeah, and Lang did a little bit of the same that we saw in the last division here, going a little bit wide down the backstretch, throwing off a few sparks here, but everybody chasing the 12C of Chad Fitzpatrick as Lindgren now kind of falling off just a little bit, but a great battle here for the third spot between Nama Lang and Caden Holm.
That's a great dichotomy of racing, the youthful exuberance of Holm on the inside. Meanwhile, the patience and the veteran racecraft of Lang on the outside. He's going to let Holm pull ahead of him a little bit coming out of the corner, and I wonder if he's going to stick in that middle lane or if he's going to pull her down and follow for a couple of laps.
Then you got the Iron Horse, the 98 of Greg Bennett, back behind Nama Lang, coming in that 5th spot right now as we're kind of moving back to a little bit of single file. It looks like Greg Bennett trying to take a look on the 18 of Nama Lang, having nothing of it right now. K9 Caden Holm holding in that 3rd spot. Then you have Ted Lindgren in the 88 in 2nd. Chad Fitzpatrick comes out of turn number 4 smoothly. We have a few laps down here, 44 laps to go. as we look back once again to the 12C of Chad Fitzpatrick.
Interesting that this is only a 50-lapper as opposed to our traditional 75 here for the late model, so that changes strategy around a little bit. Allows you to sprint a little bit quicker. You don't have to necessarily hold on to a whole lot of race car at the end. You can just go for it early and often and take a spot, get a spot. Don't worry about having car for the end of the race because you got 25 less laps to run.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, it's going to be a big part of the strategy that goes into that. If we look back to Chad Fitzpatrick in the 12C coming out of turn number 4, still the 88 of Lindgren holding firmly in that second spot. Naima Lang in 4th. Caden Holm holding on to that 3rd spot as they come out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. All still single file for your top 3, top 4, and 5. With the 98 of Greg Bennett coming out of turn number 4 now and down the front stretch here, 41 laps to go.
So for frame of reference on that, Greg, around our 3/8 mile track that we have there, 25 laps is 9.31 miles. I rounded that just a hair, but if you can imagine what that does just for your fuel consumption and what you can do in terms of filling it all the way to the top versus not, those teams that did their math right and hit it right are going to have significantly less weight than the other cars over the course of this. Also, that's all of that weight that they're not going to burn off by the time that the race ends. So it makes a pretty big difference in your setup in terms of like what you're planning for as the car is going to adjust later on in the race in terms of what you're going to have. Also on top of how you race it and how hard you push it.
Like you said, too, then it comes down to having a really good cruise. We look at Haley Constance trying to take a look to the low side of Greg Bennett. Maybe a little bit of rubbing there as the 98 of Greg Bennett able to hang on to that 5th spot here. And it looks like Naima Lang just passing on the low side as well. So Lang going to be up in that 4th spot behind Caden Holm. As we take a look back to your leader here, once again, Chad Fitzpatrick coming out of turn number 4.
Fitzpatrick leads. Home Track Heroes brought to you by Max Power Law. When you've been in an accident that's not your fault, Max Power Law has your back. One call, that's all. 844-CALL-MAX. You've got to call. 844-CALL-MAX today. A proud sponsor of Evergreen Speedway.
So your leader, Chad Fitzpatrick, but we're looking right now at the 18 of Naima Lang in car now with the 14 of Colton Price, who is back towards the middle of the field right now, but I think a good season here, good growing season for the 14 of Colton Price, getting some more laps in under his belt, but nice to see a former BECU champion out here in this pro late model division trying to kind of work his way up.
Super interesting, Greg. I don't know if you're watching the dash panel and the gauge cluster that he's got going here. As he gets into the corner, you see how that middle panel is flashing every once in a while or blinked at you? That is... it's a low pressure or a low reading warning. He's got that thing illuminated. He's got a set of gauges that when it goes beyond the minimum threshold of what he's looking for will change a color. That way he's alerted to it by a visual color change rather than having to watch the gauge the whole time. My guess is that that is a pressure sensor of some kind, oil or water maybe. More than likely it's an oil pressure. And as he's going into the corner, car bottoming out and lifting, wherever it's taking the oil pressure from is lightening up to the point where it sends that gauge into a mode where it says, oh no, there's not enough pressure in it. Now you notice as he had picked up the gas, he got right back on it and it changed to its normal color. That's why he's not panicking right now. If that light had stayed changed color and it had gone red for a second on a couple of the times by, that would indicate, okay, something really wrong. He'd shut the motor off and get off the racetrack.
Classes in session with Caleb Hart. I love that. Look at that.
You know, that's the benefits of being a parts guy, though, right? I've never driven a late model in my life, but I know what the parts are supposed to do, so I can tell you, hey, red-colored gauge, that's bad. Shut the car off.
What other show do you get the in-car look and then a session on what exactly those blinking lights mean? That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I can play-by-play. I can analyze. Somebody someday will pay me to crew chief their car, and I'll crew chief them to dead last. It'll be great.
There you go.
Out front, Chad Fitzpatrick, your race leader, sitting second. What a great run for Ted Lindgren. Lindgren, the former street stock competitor, and he absolutely annihilated a late model early in the year. This is his second car of the year. It's a brand new Van Dorn, if I remember what he said correctly. And he is loving that thing. He's driving the wheels off it here in second place. What a good run for Ted.
Yeah, just doing a great job here as he's still holding off the K9 of Caden Holm as they come out of turn number 2. Naima Lang kind of just sitting patiently in that 4th spot. And it looks like still the 98 of Greg Bennett holding in 5th as Constance trying to get around the 98 car. But Chad Fitzpatrick looking awful sharp in the 12C as they come down the front stretch out of turn number 2 down the back stretch now, but the 88 of Ted Lindgren, like you said, looking very sharp and staying within striking distance of the 12C as we have 27 laps to go.
As opposed to Chad's earlier race win on the season, which was the Central Welding 125, in which he just kind of got away from the field and hid over the course of this. Lindgren's been within 3-4 car lengths this whole time around. He's still 1 or 2 car lengths back on Fitzpatrick, who continues to enjoy the lead, but he can't afford to muss up here, else he's going to have a lot of fast race cars right up on him and maybe buy him in a blink of an eye.
Like you said, it is his debut, the 027 of Jimmy Absher. That's the car that your lead pack just passed, but he's already doing the right things. He's getting to that middle to high groove as soon as he sees those lead cars coming up, and nice to see the 027 out here, but the 12C able to pass by, as is your other top 5 here going into turn number 1 with 25 laps to go.
Can you imagine the difference from Absher driving that lightweight, good power to weight ratio, but still lightweight, short wheelbase mini stock, and coming off to these long wheelbase built heavy late models? It's got to be an absolute completely different world from him. It's the difference between Antarctica and Australia.
Yeah, that's quite a variance too.
Actually, the Arctic and Australia, I should say. My bad. Geography was not a strong suit.
Hey.
Neither is math.
Hey, like you said, you're here to teach us about auto racing, and I love it.
Do what we can. So this race, 27 in, 28 in, and 22 to go as Holm is up on the back of Lindgren trying to make a move on him. Lindgren holding the top spot, and he will keep her through at least into turn 3, although he is opening up his exit off of 4. And if Holm can get his car positioned right, he might have a good shot going into 1. You can see he is skirting the very inside of the track, just down by the Uke tires. He can't get any lower, but again, if Lindgren keeps giving him just enough of that lane, Holm's going to squeeze through here in a matter of time.
Yeah, and it looks like maybe an opportunity coming off of 4. Holm, unfortunately, not close enough that time by to be able to take advantage here, as we see he's going very low, as you said, Caleb, in turns 1 and 2. Now down the backstretch. Let's see what happens this time. Is he about a half a car length behind coming into turn number 3. But Lindgren can kind of stay a little bit low coming out of turn number 4, so blocking off the K9 of Caden Holm, not able to take advantage as we see Chad Fitzpatrick going by another car. That's going to be Brad Thomas in the 5 as he's going to stay in that high groove.
So moving Thomas a lap down for second. Holm now starting to use front bumper a little bit on the back of Lindgren. A little love tap, let him know he's there. Lindgren feels it. They'll get into the turn again, and you can see Ted's adjusted a bit as that car coming off of turn 2 slightly lower than what it was in the previous couple of laps. So Lindgren, he knows that the K9 is there, and he's going to have to do a little bit something different to keep him behind him. As time is getting short in this race in a hurry, we're 33 in and 17 to go, just like that.
And that last lap for Ted Lindgren in the 88 car, very good, as we saw it coming in back 2 laps ago. The 9 of Caden Holm was about a half a car length behind in turns 4, but it looked like about 2 car lengths that last time by for the 88 of Ted Lindgren. So, like I said, maybe making some adjustments. Gets a little bit too high there in turns 1 and 2, but K9 Caden Holm not able to take advantage as they come down into 3.
You know, your corner entrance sets up your corner exit. There's not much you can do in the middle of the corner to save a lap if you didn't get into the corner coming off well. So how Lindgren gets in is really determining how he is getting off the turn. He did a much better job again there in 1 and 2. Fitzpatrick's taken a little advantage and has opened it up to maybe a car length and a half as we got somebody into the kitty litter, up and over into our beautiful green grass. That is Chase Gardner in the 32 car. Gardner off into the grass, yellow flag out. Here's the replay, and you can see that happen. We're back with the finish coming up next here on Home Track Heroes. We've made it to the final segment on yet another awesome episode here of Home Track Heroes. Greg Pyland, Caleb Hart, and we've got a handful of laps left here in our Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Model Main event, the final Pro Late Model Main of 2023 here on Home Track Heroes. Chad Fitzpatrick has been the dominant car out in front. Ted Lindgren has been runner-up, and the K9 is Caden Holm on the inside of row number 2. That's who you see the in-car picture with. So Holm on the inside, Nema Lang outside of him, as we go back to green flag action.
It's going to be really interesting to see what Ted Lindgren does here. He's no stranger to this 3/8 oval, but he's going to be on that high side with Chad Fitzpatrick on the low side, and gets a little bit wide. Here comes the K9 of Caden Holm, almost sneaking up into that second spot, but Ted Lindgren able to recover there just for the moment. Let's see, they're going to be side by side now with Caden Holm on the low side as they come into turns 1 and 2.
Holm trying to take full advantage here as they roll out of the corner. Lindgren kind of strung along up high. He's got a good enough run, though. Boy, you see how strong he is through the center of the corner as it brings him right back into contention with Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, I think he hated to see that race start at the point in time where the race it is, as Lindgren all over him for the lead, and Holm there in case he slips up off the bottom.
And he is just keeping in that middle groove here as he comes out of turn number 4. Like I said, we're seeing a little bit more track dry down in turns 1 and 2, but Ted Lindgren looking awful sharp as he is keeping pace, being side by side. But now, just as I say that, Caden Holm able to take over that second spot.
That car pushed on him bad at the center of the corner as it ends up putting him almost into the grass off the exit of turn number 2. He'll tuck it in and pick up third as Fitzpatrick leads. We've got just 11 laps left to go here in this segment, brought to you by Monroe Grocery Outlet, your locally owned neighborhood grocery store. They offer name brand products, fresh produce, organics, wine, and more at 40 to 70% less than traditional grocery stores. Shop them first and save. Monroe Grocery Outlet, the proud sponsor of our Super Stock Figure 8 class.
So Caden Holm being very patient, sitting in that third spot for such a long time behind Ted Lindgren in the 88. Now able to finally get by. Let's see what kind of pressure he's going to be putting on the 12C of Chad Fitzpatrick as they come out of 4. And Naima Lang being patient, but now maybe taking a look to the low side of Ted Lindgren as they come into turns 1 and 2. But so impressive to see. Like you said, he kind of got pushed out on turn number 2. But what a great job recovering and being able to tuck in to make sure that Naima Lang didn't get past him.
Yeah, Naima's a tough guy to keep behind you for any amount of laps, and especially in a situation like this where Naima can just really push hard here in the final couple of laps around. Fitzpatrick with Holm right behind him, and this is the best run we've seen out of Caden Holm, as it would be equaling a career best, or I believe a new career best second place finish, if he can just hold the spot he's in, much less get around Fitzpatrick, who's looking for win number 2 on the year, and he is not having an easy run of it.
No, he definitely does not, and I'm sure he's probably pretty happy to see the champion in the 18 of Naima Lang a few cars back there as he comes out of turn number 4. But Chad Fitzpatrick has been so solid for this race for almost the entire race out in front, but the 12C car still holding off the K9 of Caden Holm. Ted Lindgren also just continuing to impress, just doing a great job in that 88 car coming down the backstretch, holding firmly in third as they come across out of turn number 4, down across the start-finish line. 5 laps now to go.
I'm disappointed we're not getting another 25 on top of this, because this has gotten really good here in the final stages. So Fitzpatrick, Holm, and Lindgren 1 through 3, Lang and Constance right there in case anything breaks loose, and Colton Price is right in that nose-to-tail battle as Holm's going to make a bid for the inside at turn number 1. Caden Holm got in, might have had to lift. Still there with Fitzpatrick right front up to the left rear, but that's not having him covered. Fitzpatrick can pinch down in the corner, gives him just enough room. Now how's it going to break out on the straightaway? Holm down on the bottom, Fitzpatrick in the middle. Do we see a lead change coming as Holm's got the nose ahead in the back chute?
What a great battle here side by side, like you said, starting in turn number 1 and 2 as he got to the low side here, and they continue to battle side by side, much like we saw the 88 of Ted Lindgren side by side with the 12C of Chad Fitzpatrick a few laps ago, and it looks like getting just a little bit loose there as a K9 of Caden Holm, and unfortunately that allows the 12C of Chad Fitzpatrick to take over that first place spot.
When Chad's been here in color commentary, he's talked about the bottom of turn 2 coming to the white flag and not getting too low on the racetrack, and that might have been what happened to Holm. He might have gotten too low on the track and into the rumble strip, make the car a little bit loose at the exit of the corner, and that might have sealed the deal. Checkered flag out, and Fitzpatrick gets the win, his second of the year over Holm. Then Lindgren, I think Constance got Lang for 4th at the very end. Let's go to the podium. We'll talk to your winners and your champion here in the Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models.
Well, Ted, from how this season started out for the 88 camp to how it finishes with the third place run, you guys are going to have to take this one going into the off season.
Yeah, this is a little bonus for getting into the off season. We're making some progress, but there's something that we do you might not be aware of. This goes back to the street stock days. Here we go, everybody. Woo! All right. Yeah, this has been fun. I got to thank a lot of people here. Adam Bahari, Andrew Orr, they've been with my pit crew this year, and we're getting this thing figured out a little bit. Jesse Jensen, He helped me out a little bit, a lot probably. We're getting her dialed in. My company, American Image, AIHair.com, Amsoil, Don Sass, Performance Lube Synthetics, the Will Cruzmore boys. Those guys are awesome, just awesome.
I know there's always a lot of challenges stepping up into a new class, and unfortunately throwing a wrench into things, switching the car midway through the season as well. What kind of confidence is having a run like that where you're fighting with all of the guys up at the front and stayed up front give you guys?
It's incentive. It really is, to know we're heading in the right direction. All the work, all the late nights. You know, I'm sometimes out in the shop till 1 o'clock. Wife goes to bed. She understands. But it's very exciting. I want to congratulate Nema on another championship. Nice job, brother.
Ted Lindgren, third place. Congratulations, Ted, in the 88 camp with a strong run. Caden, another podium appearance here in 2023. Man, you made it close to the end. You and Chad had a great battle. I know you had to dive to the inside of him. I guess you sensed that was your opportunity to try and get the job done.
Yeah, I just had to go for it, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I just had to go for it.
I know there was a little bit of a bobble off at 2 with about 2 to go there that maybe affected it getting into one of the bumps there, kind of unloaded it.
I think we ran out of fuel or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a Fred Flintstone moment coming across the line to get second even, but still managing to salvage it. I know what's it been like getting more and more confidence behind the wheel of one of these things on pavement in a late model with some fenders on it.
It's kind of hard to explain. I don't remember how to explain it. So.
Trying to pick away at it still. Who do you got that helps you get out here at Evergreen Speedway each and every weekend?
Johansson Mechanical, Country Financial, my pit crew, James Laurie, my fiance, Joni, Brad, my Nana, Jay, Trissy, Joe's Racing Products, and that's all I can think of right now.
Caden Holm getting the job done with a second place run. Nicely done, Caden. Well, Chad Fitzpatrick, that was a great race from start to finish. I know the track position helped out a little bit with a 50-lap sprint and getting in front of everybody trying to track you down, but Spot, I had to be telling you there was pretty much a train on back for the 6th spot for pretty much the entire race.
Yes, I really wasn't looking in my mirror, but the one time I did, I see a trail of cars, and I'm like, I can't look. I thought the 125-lapper was a long race. I think this one tops it.
Yeah, I know. That was a long, long way, especially when you're at the front. And then, Caden, you guys were racing side by side. It was a great battle for a few laps there in the last little bit to spike the heart rate once again at the tail end.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun battle, and I was just glad it just ended the way it did.
I know it's always a sea of orange when you come out here and race, Chad, with the 12 camp, and who you got on the side of that orange and yellow machine?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who comes out here. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Thank you to all my sponsors, Apex, Mazda of Everett, Powder Coated Inc., Snohomish Co-op, everybody else, thank you.
Chad Fitzpatrick, your winner tonight in car number 12C. Well, Nemo, we said 3 in a row at least, 8 overall here at Evergreen Speedway, and I know you're not exactly points racing when you come out here each and every weekend, but it still has to feel good to stand up here on the stage, get another one under your belt.
Yeah, we were, car was a little off tonight, we couldn't have no drive off, but it was a great year. We had our ups and downs. Can't thank my crew enough for everything they do for me. J&R Truck, Reynolds, J&R Motorsports, you know, it's just all their support, and my whole family and all my friends coming out here every week. It's great to come out here and finish up another championship.
I know this place has been a long time, a hometown racetrack for you, and a place that you've had great success over the years. We'll throw in a 9th championship with a Bomber championship way back in the day as well. What has this place meant to you over the years throughout all the cars and all the classes you've run?
It means everything, and you know, I love coming out here. I always say I need to retire, but I just keep coming up, showing up, and we have a good time. As long as we're having fun, I'll keep coming out.
Name a leg. Oh, we got to get the thank yous in one last time. Who do you got supporting the 18 car over the course of the season?
Yeah, for sure. It's all J&R Truck Reynolds, J&R Motorsports, Lang Auto Sports, and Tracy DeYoung with DeYoung Inc.
Name a leg, your 2023 champ. Nicely done naming the 18 count.
Naaman Lang, one of 5 champions crowned tonight. He is our Pro Late Model champion. Congratulations, Mark Hubbard in the street stocks, Lyndon Smith in the mini stocks, our Legends champion Gabe Sessler, and our Pro 4 Truck champion Pete Brady. Great night of racing overall, Greg.
I always love a night of champions, and a lot of fun to see some of these drivers do it in style, but great job, and congratulations to all of our champions.
It's a great night of racing. We look forward to you guys being here next week on Home Track Heroes, where all 3 figure 8 divisions will crown their champions. The Hornets will, and the Sprint Cars are back to crown their champion. Should be a great night of racing. Hope you'll join us then. The next time you can come to Evergreen Speedway, you'll want to get your tickets early because it's 60 Minutes of Fear, the ultimate figure 8 race of the year. Make your plans to be here. Check out Evergreen Speedway for ticket information and all the times. For our entire crew, Griff and Derek doing the producing, Greg Pylan, the color commentator extraordinaire. My name's Caleb Hart. We'll see you next Sunday night here on Seattle 11 for more Home Track Heroes. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on KSTW 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.